Hello, this is VNA Broadcast Daily, and following are today's highlights.
Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev begins his visit to Vietnam on November 7th. President Trung Tan Sang welcomes new ambassadors from Timor-Leste, Oman, Sweden, the Czech Republic and New Zealand. A delegation of the Government Committee for Religious Affairs is paying a working visit to Italy.
Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev began his visit to Vietnam on November 7th. He was given an official welcoming ceremony at the Presidential Palace in Hanoi.
The relations between Vietnam and Russia have seen strong growth over recent time, with the establishment of a comprehensive strategic partnership during President Trung Tan Sang's visit to Russia in July this year. At their talks following the welcome ceremony, Prime Minister Nguyễn Thanh Duong and Prime Minister Medvedev agreed on orientations and measures to promote Vietnam and Russia's comprehensive strategic partnership. They agreed to step up political dialogue to create momentum for cooperation in other fields. Both Prime Ministers stressed the need to remove obstacles that face the business communities in both countries, thus creating the best possible conditions for developing trade and investment. At the same time, the two countries will start negotiating a free trade agreement between Vietnam and the customs alliance of Russia, Kazakhstan and Belarus. Both leaders praised the efforts made by both countries to implement strategic cooperation projects in oil and gas, nuclear energy, technology and defence. The two governments will offer favourable conditions for relevant agencies and companies from both countries to survey and explore for oil and gas in each other's territory, start the construction of the Ninh Thuận 1 nuclear power station and lift bilateral military cooperation in technology to a new height. They agree to expand their ties in science, technology, education, training, culture and tourism to increase comprehensive cooperation between both nations. Both hosts and guests said they believe that the Vietnam-Russia relations will become increasingly stronger, meeting the demand for development in each country and for peace, stability and prosperity. Today, the Russian Prime Minister was received by Party General Secretary Win Fu-chung, State President Trung Tan Sang and National Assembly Chairman Win Sing-hung on three separate occasions. Trung said he is pleased with the Communist Party of Vietnam and the United Russia Party's developing relationship. He expressed his wish that both parties continue to foster cooperation based on the signed agreements, helping strengthen the traditional friendship and strategic partnership between the two countries. President Sang affirmed that in history, Russia is always big brother to Vietnam. At his meeting with the Russian leader, National Assembly Chairman Hung spoke of the developing relations between the two parliaments, with regular exchange of high-ranking delegations and parliamentarian friendship groups. For his part, Medvedev affirmed that Russia considers Vietnam as its leading partner in Southeast Asia, and is determined to build up the partnership between the two countries, as well as the cooperation between the two parties. He said he believes that the outcome of the visit will tighten the two countries' diplomatic ties. He expressed his hope that the Vietnamese and Russian legislators will forge closer coordination to speed up cooperation programs and projects between the two countries.
President Trung Tan Sang separately received new ambassadors from Timor-Leste, Oman, Sweden, the Czech Republic and New Zealand in Hanoi on November 6.
At the meeting with Timor-Leste's ambassador George Trindade Neves de Caños, Sang said Vietnam supports the country to become an official member of ASEAN and is willing to share experiences in economic and international integration. At a reception to Oman's ambassador Sultan bin Saif Hilal Al Muriq, the president promised that Vietnam will offer favourable conditions to Omani businesses. The Omani diplomat stressed that Vietnam's knowledge in fishing and seafood processing would be a competitive advantage when they invest in Oman. While receiving Swedish ambassador Camilla Melander, Sang expressed gratitude for Sweden's precious support to Vietnam in the cause of national protection and construction. The ambassador affirmed that she believes the relation between the two countries will develop further in the future. At his reception for Czech Ambassador Martin Klepko, President Sang stressed that Vietnam is willing to act as a bridge for the Czech Republic to enter the ASEAN market. For his part, the ambassador suggested that the two sides create favourable conditions to raise the two countries' bilateral trade to a higher level. While receiving New Zealand's ambassador Hake Christian Manning, the President said Vietnam and New Zealand should increase cooperation at the Asian-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum and within the framework of the Trans-Pacific Strategic Economic Partnership. The ambassador affirmed that New Zealand highly values Vietnam's role in ASEAN and highlighted New Zealand's stance on the East Seas issue that the disputes must be settled on the basis of respecting international law for peace in the region and the world.
A Vietnamese delegation led by Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs and head of the Government Committee for Religious Affairs, Phạm Dũng, is paying a working visit to Italy from November 4th to 9th.
During a work session with Italian Deputy Minister of the Interior, Saverio Repetto, the two sides exchanged views on policies and regulations relating to beliefs, religions, religious situation, as well as the religious life in their respective countries, particularly some issues relating to Catholicism in Italy and solutions to the emerged problems. The delegation also met with several senior officials of the Vatican, including the Secretary of Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples of the Vatican, Archbishop Savio Hon Tai Fei, the Vicegerent of the Diocese of Rome, Archbishop Filippo Inon, the Secretary for Relations with States, Archbishop Dominique Mamberti, and the Undersecretary for Relations with the State, Ettore Balestio. In addition, the delegation visited Bambino Gesù Children's Hospital of Vatican, which has cooperative ties with Hanoi Children's Hospital.
The head of the Interpol Vietnam office, Colonel Đặng Xuân Khang, is representing Vietnam at the 81st Interpol General Assembly. The event is taking place from November 5th to 8th in Rome, Italy, with the theme Challenges for Police Facing Contemporary Criminal Violence.
Police chiefs and other senior law enforcement officials from around the world will discuss critical challenges for police, such as border security, organized crime, terrorism, cultural heritage protection, and fighting trafficking. In a report presented at the ministerial meeting within the framework of the General Assembly, the Vietnamese representative called for the signing of more bilateral agreements on extradition and legal assistance to create a legal basis for international cooperation in crime prevention. He added that for effective crime prevention, it requires close cooperation and coordination among nations on the basis of solidarity, friendship, and respect for each other's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Vietnam became the 156th member of the 190 membership group in 1991. The country hosted the 80th Interpol General Assembly in 2011.
Businesses from the Republic of Korea currently operating in Vietnam has been praised for their contributions to socioeconomic development in their host country at an awards ceremony in Hanoi.
Jointly organised by Vietnam's Ministry of Planning and Investment and the Republic of Korea's Ministry of Knowledge Economy, the event on November 6th is part of a series of activities marking the 20th anniversary of the two countries' diplomatic ties. Awards were presented to 8 Korean firms operating in the fields of construction, heavy industry, garments, footwear, electronics and insurance services for their outstanding contributions such as improving working conditions and protecting the environment. In addition, various kinds of products from 40 manufacturers from the Republic of Korea were also on display at the trade fair.
And that comes to the end of our news today. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.